Hello, it's good to be here with you again, and I particularly want to talk today about this time of year which Christians call Lent. It's the time when we prepare and get ready for Easter. Are you ready for our story? I'm going to get ready now. In my head, in my heart, and all around me, Jesus is here. Well, in this time of Lent, we remember how Jesus went into the wilderness. So our story today is about the wilderness. I've made a sort of wilderness tray. I'll show you. Here we are. Well, there's not much in the wilderness. All there is sand and rocks and sky. That's all there is. Sand and rocks and sky. Anyway, let's get ready to go to the wilderness. So shall we all stand up and let's get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we're in the wilderness. What can we see? What can we see over here? Well, all we can see is sand and rocks and sky. What about over here? What can we see? All we can see is sand and rocks and sky. What about behind us? All we can see is sand, rocks and sky. And over there, all we can see is, that's right, sand and rocks and sky. Now, before we carry on with our story, we need to learn some actions and some words. And it goes like this. I'll show you first. No, 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 God's way of love I'll go. Should we do that together? No, 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 God's way of love I'll go. Good. Should we do it once more, just to be sure we've got it right? No, 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 God's way of love I'll go. But we haven't looked in the box yet. Let's see what's in the box today. Well, it's a stone. We need an action to go with the stone. What could that be? Perhaps it could be like that for stone. Let's see what else is in the box. It's the world. So we need an action for everything in the world. Perhaps that could be everything in the world. So we've got a stone, We've got everything in the world, and we've got one more thing in the box. It's an angel. So we need an action for the angel. Perhaps like that, with the angel's wings. So we've got stone, everything in the world, and the angel. Now I think we can carry on with our story. Let me get my storybook. Right. So, Jesus was in the wilderness, all by himself. And all he could see anywhere was sand and rocks and sky. Jesus was very hungry and thirsty. Can you show hungry and thirsty? Well then, at the point that Jesus was most hungry, the tester came. And it was when Jesus was most thirsty as well. The tester wanted to see if Jesus was ready to follow God's way of love. The tester asked 3 tricky questions. And Jesus had to make 3 tricky choices. 1, 2, 3. Will Jesus follow God's way of love? Let's find out. So, choice number 1. The tester showed Jesus some stones. What's our action for stones? Yes. And the tester said, Jesus, you're very hungry. You don't have to follow God. Why don't you just make these stones into bread? Imagine how much Jesus wanted to eat bread. Can you show me again how hungry Jesus was? But Jesus knew the tester was trying to trick him. That's not God's way of love. So Jesus said to the tester, no, 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 God's way of love I'll go. But then the tempter came again for the second time. 1, 2. And this time, the tester showed Jesus the whole world, everything in it. Can you show our action for everything in the world? Everything in the world. So the tester said to Jesus, why don't you follow me and not God? I'll give you the whole world and everything in it. Can you imagine being given everything as a present? But Jesus knew that was not God's way of love. So Jesus replied, no, 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 God's way of love, I'll go. No, 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 God's way of love, I'll go. Well, now we've come to number 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's show our angel action, because we're going to need that now. Are you ready? The tester took Jesus up to the top of a tall tower. The tester said, why don't you throw yourself off? Angels will catch you. Then everyone will see how special you are. Let's show an angel ready to catch Jesus. It's nice to feel special, isn't it? That's what the tester said to Jesus. Everyone will see how special you are if you throw yourself off the tower and the angels catch you. But that's not God's way of love. So Jesus said, no, 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 God's way of love, I'll go. No, 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 God's way of love, I'll go. No, 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 God's way of love, I'll go. Jesus chose God's way of love. We can all cross our arms to show that love. Can we do that now? And when we do that, we're making a cross, aren't we? The cross shows God's way of love. The way of love is called the way of the cross. Would you like to close your eyes for a moment so we can think about what we do? Sometimes we have to make tricky choices. There are things we really, really want to do, but we know they're wrong. We know they don't show love. Let's open our eyes again. When we follow Jesus, we choose to say no to things we know are wrong. And we choose to follow God's way of love. We can make that into a prayer now as we end our story. If you would like to, you can say the words and do the actions. and make those words of Jesus our own words too. So help us, Jesus, to make the right choices, not to follow the wrong paths. Help us to say, no, no, no. God's way of love, I'll go. Amen.